Good afternoon, Business in a Flash fans, and today we have the one and only Dominican M/Auntie Ems, and I am interviewing her today. So let's just give a warm welcome. And we rep Dominica hard, so do not underestimate our powers. No. Let's get into it. Emma, congratulations, you wear many hats. Please tell us about the Dominican M Show.
So the Dominican M Show is a podcast. It was initially on radio, and it's a big part of me a big part of me is my culture. So being Dominican, my Caribbean heritage, all of that is my culture, and I wear that with so much pride. So when I had my podcast, because like you, I like to talk.
Yes.
I've got a couple of opinions, that I like to talk. I was just I really want to showcase soca, bouillon, our music. We have so many people that are in the UK, similar background to you and I, they're born here, live here, but we're so proud of our rich culture. I wanted to represent that. So the Dominican M Show, which was your question, it has music, it has conversation. My friend, your Uncle Ryan, he's from Trinidad. So I'm Dominican, he's Trinidadian. We'll talk, we'll be bantering, we'll just be laughing and joking. We're two friends, we'll talk about what's happening in the news, music we like, things that happened in the week, all that kind of stuff. And we're just trying to keep it interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
How did you get into radio presenting, and did you have training?
I had zero training. But what I do have is, one, I'm very ambitious, and two, I'm quite passionate about things that I care about. So that's what I have. So I don't have an acting background, I don't have any formal training, I don't have any performing arts as a background, but in anything that I do, I try and do 100. Yeah, but there's no such thing as 110% because you can't have more than a whole, right?
Yeah.
But I will always do the best that I can.
Yes.
And I do that in everything I do. And it's funny, there's a lady that I know, and funny, she's Dominican, right? This lady, she was like, Emma, there's an opportunity for a radio show, and I think you'd be great for it. I was like, what? I don't think so. What would I do? I don't know how to do it. How does it work? How do you even put a show together? What time? Oh my God, I'm busy already. What am I going to do? I was thinking of all these things that could go wrong, and then a part of me was no, come out of your comfort zone and just push yourself.
Yes.
And I did, and I've never been so happy as when I was doing that show. Actually, that's not true, because when I make the costumes, which we'll talk about later, that makes me really happy. But doing something for myself made me really happy. And that entrepreneurial thing, which you've got as well, that entrepreneurial spirit where we just want to just try. If it doesn't work, I'll try and do it better next time, or I'll do that instead. I've got that in me. So I was kind of nurturing something in me every week, and it just made me really love it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I like to hear that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Out of this world. You are also a band director and designer of Belle Dyès.
You said that perfectly. Whoa, well done.
How did you start this carnival costume wear business, and do you have a kids section?
I really want a kids section. That's such a good point. I would love to do that.
First person, I call dibs.
Can you model it for me if I do?
Sure.
I'm going to ask your mum if that's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she says yes, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, deal.
Deal.
Okay, deal. But I would really love to do that. So, to answer your question, you said the name of it. Can we not skim over that? You said that perfectly. Maybe because you're Dominican, you hear the Creole, you know how it's pronounced and some of the words. But Belle means beautiful, and Dyès means goddess.
Yeah.
So in English, it's saying beautiful goddess, because when you wear the costume, I want you to be happy, I want you to feel beautiful, I want you to feel you're wearing something that's made in love.
Yes.
That's what I want. And to answer your question, I've been taking part in carnival. Remember, we're Dominicans, they call it Vaval, right? I've been taking part in Mass, Carnival, Val, however you want to call it, since I was a little girl. I was younger than you since when I went to my first carnival. So whether I go with my mummy and daddy and you go on the sides, whether I jump up in t-shirt, whether I wear a costume. I've been taking part in the carnival since I probably could speak. You know, it's a part of us, it's our culture. And you see all of our people, whether they're from Barbados or Trinidad or Ghana or Dominica.
Yes. I went to my first carnival at only a couple of months old.
There you go, because your mum knows what time
And
it
I
is.
was in a blanket. I couldn't even speak.
But you probably enjoyed yourself though.
Yes, I definitely did.
Yeah, exactly. So to answer your question, I love you. To answer your question, I've always been taking part in carnival.
Yeah.
And then I got to like a, maybe not a certain age, but a certain point. But I would always, when I would join a band to actually get on the road for carnival, I would, you know, before I'd wear the costume, I want to know who are the people. I want to know who's in the band, like who
gets comfortable.
Yeah, but I want to know. I don't want to just turn up on the day. I want to just like be a part of it. And I wasn't doing it for any other reason other than maybe I'm just Dominican. I just like to be in it. I just want to be. I love it. It's my culture. Why not? So I used to help like making some of the costumes. I wouldn't design at that point. I can't take that credit. But you would see the designers doing their things. They've got their design of what they want all of the masqueraders, the people in costume, to wear. And you're there like kind of copying a piece. So maybe this week they've got the belt piece and they've got all the people who like me want to volunteer, come into mass camp. You know what a mass camp is?
Well, I've heard of it, but I've never seen one.
Okay, so a mass camp would be, so when you have carnival, the place where the people, before they join the band, they will come, they'll help make the costumes, or they'll sort out all of the things you need to get on the road. So if they need to sort out the truck, they need to sort out the drinks, or they need a meeting just to like talk about, you know, okay, we need to do this on this day. That's mass camp.
Yeah.
And it's a very important part of our culture. So I'll just be there, you know, like badly sticking on gems and doing what I'm doing and just trying to understand and learn. But what happened was I was watching so much, so I was like, I like doing this. I'm quite creative, so I didn't do anything with my drawings, but I'd always be drawing. I'd always be colouring. I'd always be asking about clothes. I just didn't pursue it, but that was there in me, you know. So I had that and I had that. But when I got older, I pursued like the logical and the maths.
But not that
the
creative side of you.
And it's a part of me. So it's almost like I'm addressing one part of my character,
but not the other.
Yeah,
and you're hiding that behind the shadow of the other one.
Almost, but not intentionally. But you hit the nail on the head, because I'm not being my full self, and it's harder as well when you have the creative side. There's not like a wrong or right answer. Somebody might like it or they might not like it, but it doesn't matter, does it? It's just like you do your drawing because that's you expressing yourself. So when I got the opportunity to start making my costumes, I was so happy.
What are one of the vital rules of making costumes? Like, what do you need, and what is one of your favorite compartments of making one of those amazing costumes that I've seen on your Instagram?
Ooh. So what's the vital part? It has to be practical, because somebody has to physically wear it. So you can have the most fantastical or creative idea, but can somebody physically put it on them and wear it down the road? So I guess it has to be creative, functional art.
What has been your biggest challenge with your carnival costume business, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, brilliant question. Biggest challenge has been learning how to do some of the things that I see and doing it myself.
Yes.
And the way to overcome it was to just learn and train. So I'll give you an example. So sewing. I've got a sewing machine, and I could do basic things, but I didn't know how to make a costume. I had to learn how to do everything. So when I first started with the costumes in 2019, and the first costumes were made in 2020, that's when I launched. I had a seamstress, a brilliant lady. She's used by a lot of bands in carnival. You would show her your drawing, and she's so talented. She can take your drawing. Yeah, she's a brilliant lady. She's so good.
Is she still working with you?
not with me, and I'll tell you why, but she still works with many bands in the community, because not everybody does things the way that I would do them. But it's not to say I'm doing it good and they're doing it bad, or they're doing it good and I'm doing it. It doesn't matter. It's almost like we just do things in a different way.
Yeah.
And not necessarily one is good and one is bad, but just different. So for me, it was important that I learn how to do it myself.
Yes.
It looked rubbish right in the beginning. It didn't look great. But I just kept going and I kept going and I kept going. Because some of it is actually confidence. It's just like, you can be so confident in so many things, like when you speak to people, when you're in certain environments, but sometimes when it's a new challenge, you, not anybody else, not your mummy, not your daddy, not your brothers, but you put so much pressure on yourself because you just want to do it well, right? And I have that. So it's almost like an anxiety almost of like, I know I can do it, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
So it was very important for me to learn how to do some of these things, and I just had to start really rough. And some of the things I would do, I would go on the internet and I would find a design, a pattern, print it out, and then I would copy the design. There's nothing wrong with that. That's brilliant. They've already got the pattern that I like. I can copy that. Or I would get like a swimsuit, for example, cut it, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm going to try and recreate this. And that's what I've done sometimes. I've literally taken their one and been like, okay, I'm going to make my version of that. And that is how I've actually taught myself. So again, not traditional training. Not traditional. But then I had, I was supposed to meet you a couple of weeks ago. Let's not talk about that, but we'll just say briefly, the reason I couldn't come is because I had, there's a gentleman called Carl Gabriel. Carl Gabriel. I was going to say, hi, Uncle Carl.
Hello.
He is amazing. I can't even call him a wire bender. He's like he's an actual artist, and he has like the skill, the history, the knowledge of like how things were done maybe back in Trinidad, and his way of doing things. But he's so experienced. I was doing some of the wire work myself. So same with the costumes. When I first started, I would buy it.
Yes.
And then I was like making it myself, because I don't really know like how it was done like back in the day or back home. I would do my version of like, okay, I think this goes here or this goes there, right?
Yeah.
So I would do that, and I sat down with him and he gave me like excellent training. He was brilliant.
So was it like an offer you couldn't turn down?
I couldn't turn it down because I don't think he does that. I don't think he does one-on-one training like that.
Yeah.
He wants to make sure that the traditions and the ways of doing things continue.
Yeah.
So he's teaching me some of the things that he knows. So it's on me now. I have to just like keep practicing. I keep learning, and I've got to keep asking questions. But like a baby, I've just got to like learn how to do it. So yeah, Auntie does everything herself now.
So back to what we were discussing before. Why why are you not working with that lady anymore? Is it because that you wanted to learn to do it how yourself?
Yeah, literally. And she was really great. She was lovely to work with, a lovely person. But I just wanted to like learn how to do it myself, because I thought it was very important.
Have
independence, but to know the skill.
Yes.
And to learn it and to challenge myself. It's very easy to keep doing what you know.
Can you tell us what other entrepreneurial ventures you have, and like vets or anything like that?
Yeah, good question. So you hit the nail on the head. I am very entrepreneurial. Do you know where I get that from?
Families.
Yeah. Yeah, so my daddy used to own his own business. He used to own, actually I've got an event in Shoreditch, that's the flyer there, to celebrate Dominican independence, Dominica, like one time.
Yes.
Yeah. But my daddy used to have a shop maybe 3 minutes walk away from this venue in Shoreditch in East London. And he used to just like have his own businesses. So back in the day before they had Uber, he would have like his own minicab office. He had a furniture shop. He had like the whole building's changed in East London in Shoreditch, but he had everything there. But what he was doing was just showing me what I could do, because you watch what your parents do, don't you?
Yeah.
And I was so proud. I didn't even realise all of the things I was picking up from him. So I got the entrepreneurial spirit from him. And yes, you're right. So Auntie works in accounting. That's my 9 to 5. I work in finance. I work in the office. I play around with numbers. I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I like logic. But then I also make carnival costumes from scratch. But I'll draw the pictures of what I want to make. That then translates to a costume. That then translates to Notting Hill Carnival. And people actually wearing your costumes. It's amazing. It's like actually an insane feeling.
It's like success in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it's something, it is. You're spot on right. But it's something that is like, you just keep wanting to do better and trying to do better each time as well.
Yes.
And then Auntie does vets, so I put on parties as well.
Yes.
You know, everything's new to me. What it means is that when opportunities arise where I can speak about like my pride in my culture, or just maybe not even that. What if I just want to speak about, you know, East London or music?
Yeah.
Or because that's happened, or working in accounting. What if I want to speak about those things? When those opportunities arise, I also take those up as well.
Yes. What business do you focus on the most? What is your main business?
Excellent question. What pays the bills is my accounting job that I do Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. But do you know which one out of all of them gives me the most fulfillment?
Dyès.
Yeah.
Beautiful goddess.
Yeah. Oh, you listen, and you say it so perfectly. Yeah, 100%. I love the presenting. I didn't know that I'd be doing that a couple of years ago. I would, in fact, I'd be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, no, like, I need to know. I love that. That's probably my second favourite. But you know what it might be as well? I think what you want changes. So if you had asked me 10 years ago, I probably might have been quite comfortable with accounting being my lead and being my biggest thing. But something just happened now in the last few years where I just feel really happy, content, fulfilled with all of that.
So, is your between Dyès translated in English, beautiful goddesses,
That's it.
and your Dominican M's show? Which one would you like to pursue and make that even better? Make it the greatest, in your opinion?
I think they both have bandwidth, they both have scope to be pushed and made better, and they're both on my plan to do so.
Yeah.
So the Dominican M show, that was on a radio station, that's now a podcast. I want to keep pushing that, and I want to keep pushing my presenting. Me and you sitting down today is me practicing what I'm doing. Do you know that?
Yes.
Because you're just talking, we're just being ourselves. So it's like all of those things that we're doing, you keep doing it, you refine the skill and the art. So to answer your question, out of the two, I would probably say the costume designing is the one that's like my baby, the one that I really want to do, but I can't forget the presenting as well because it's new to me, but I really love it, honestly.
You enjoy it. Auntie M's.
Yes, babes.
Where would you like to see the Belle Dyès in 5 years?
Oh, excellent question. I would like to see the brand expanded. So I would like to see that 5 years time, we've got 5 years of experience under our belt. And what that looks like is we've been on the road in Notting Hill Carnival. 5 years time, I want to see a truck that is called the Belle Dyès Mars truck. You're going to be there in costume?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so we have to just check. Yeah. Okay. But I want a truck that says Belle Dyès Mars. And we are going to celebrate Caribbean culture, but we are going to definitely 100% represent Dominican culture. Yeah. I think you should represent all of the islands, but there's something about our island
that is just different.
It's different, right? But it's beautiful, and that difference is what makes it so beautiful. And it's such a rich, strong culture, but it can bring everyone together. But also, I would like to see the kids' costumes.
Yeah.
I would like to see that. But also, what if we're in like Dominica or Guyana or Antigua? I would like to see my costumes there as well.
Yeah.
So I would like to see 5 years time my truck on the road. I remember Auntie's still learning, but that is my aim. That is what I'm pushing for. Yes. And my costumes to be in the Caribbean, 100%. So yeah, that's the aim. Wish me luck.
Yes, I will. When you're not working or thinking of your next business move, what do you personally like to do in your spare time?
Oh, you're with like the excellent questions today. Music. I love music. I like listening to music. I find it relaxing.
Yeah.
But then it's energizing. So I guess it's like whatever moods I'm in, like music kind of like not exacerbates, it kind of like multiplies that feeling. Like I love it. So I like to listen to music. I'm quite creative, but I would say I like to maybe draw as well. That's something that I like to do. It sounds really specific, but I do.
Have you ever, when you were a child, have you ever thought of being a graphic designer or anything?
I don't think I knew what a graphic designer was when I was a kid, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because it was such a different time. I'll be like, you work on computers, and I was clever. I wasn't thick. I'm just gonna add, but it was a different time because Arnie's only 21, so back then they didn't have graphic designers. Do you know what I mean? Like they just didn't have them, or they probably did, but it wasn't like a big. It's a great profession and it's a great career, but we didn't have it as in abundance like we do like back when I was like 18 or whatever.
Can you share 2 tips you would give to people who want to be serial entrepreneurs?
Keep going. You have to make mistakes to learn. Keep going. So it sounds very basic, but one thing a director told me in one of my old companies, the successful person, I think he stole it from somebody else, so I can't even give him credit, but a successful person makes mistakes and they fail, but the difference between them and somebody who doesn't succeed is a successful person knows to keep going. So we might do an interview and it doesn't really go great this time, but you don't stop. You just keep going until you learn more of the questions to ask, or you get to a point you feel comfortable, or you've got an exam and you're like, okay, well, I know I shouldn't do that the night before, or you don't just stop when you've made the mistake, you keep going.
Yes.
And so that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, oh, this is hard.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
Sorry. Associated to what you just said now,
Yeah.
my mom always says if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail. So
Fact.
you always need to, yeah, that's a fact. You always need to be ready. So if your teacher just comes and says, right, you have a test on Thursday,
Yeah.
please practice,
Yeah.
and you leave it until Wednesday night to practice, you're definitely preparing to fail.
Mummy's right.
Definitely.
Mummy don't play games. Mummy's right. She's got that spot on.
Or you don't even practice at all.
No, we call them moo-moos in Creole.
Yeah.
But I guess that's my main one, is just to keep going. My second one, what would that be? Maybe just try and learn come out your comfort zone, I guess. It sounds so cliched, Mahalia, but sometimes when you push yourself, you start to expand your knowledge, but you also learn new things that you might not have thought about and new ways of thinking as well. When you meet new people, they have different like backgrounds, right? So they have different ways that they might approach like a task or completing something. So when you come out of your comfort zone, you meet new people and you also start to do things better. It feels uncomfortable though. Like there's something comfortable about doing the same thing every day. That's quite boring. But when you start to like come out of your comfort zone, which is what we do all the time, you and I, you start to feel really rewarded because you're like, I didn't know I could do that.
Yes.
Agree, or what do you think?
Yes, I definitely agree.
Cool.
Finally, can you please share the platforms that people can find you on socials, like Instagram, TikTok, and stuff like that?
Cool. So you can find me on Instagram on Dominican Ems. That's DOMINICAN_EMZ. Or you can find me on BELDYESMAS, and it's Beldier Mars. So that's my Instagram. Facebook, you can probably find me on the same, but you can also find me on Emma Matthewreen. That is my very Dominican name as well. I'm not going to give them the full spelling of my full surname though.
What about YouTube?
YouTube, good question. Beldier Media. So DYESMEDIA, and that's Belgian Media, and that's where they can find me. Where can they find you?
Well, you guys can find me on Instagram, Business in a Flash, and on YouTube, Business in a Flash as well. And you can just click the like button and maybe give me a subscribe.
Ooh.
And that was and thank you very much, Dominican M's.
Thank you
Was
too,
a Business in
babe.
a Flash. Also, don't forget to come to the Dominican Independence Fete, and also just follow both of us on Instagram if you're not following, and subscribe.
Yeah.
You better.
You better.
And like, and do everything, and it will be such a help. I love you guys. Bye, flashlights.